Dear friends, English literature, Introduction to Poetry, A Prayer for My Daughter, William Butler Yeats, short questions with answers. Question 1. Explain the following. Imagining in excited reverie that the future years had come, dancing to a frenzied drum, out of the murderous innocence of the sea. Answer. These lines occur in A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. While praying for his infant daughter, the poet feels gloomy about the future years and makes some guesses about the tumultuous future. The poet's daughter is sleeping in her cradle, while the poet is pacing up and down and praying for his daughter, being worried about the future of his daughter by the premonition of the storm that is repeatedly blowing from the sea. The storm is bred on the Atlantic Sea. The storm is howling and might have been very destructive if there had not been some obstacle in its way. The obstruction was created by Gregory's Wood and One Bear Hill. The storm creates tension in the mind of the poet, and so he has been walking up and down for an hour and praying for the future welfare of his daughter. The poet has already in his mind some ideas about the second coming. It is dreadful, a rough beast slouches towards Bethlehem to born. The poet now imagines in his excited imagination that the year of the second coming has already come. It is dancing wildly to a frenzied drum. It has been born from treacherous tranquility of that time. The Atlantic Ocean has been used as a symbol of the contemporary peacefulness which is only apparent. Question 2. Explain the following with a reference to the context. May she be granted beauty and yet not beauty to make a stranger's eye distraught or harsh before a looking glass. Answer. These lines occur in the poem A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. In this line, a part of the prayer for the poet's daughter has been mentioned. In the prayer for his daughter, the poet desires that she may be granted moderate beauty. His philosophy is that if a girl has too much of beauty, she may make people mad for her. And even the girl herself may be distracted by her own beauty when she will look after look at her reflection in the mirror. The evil of too much beauty is that the possessor of such beauty thinks that her beauty is an end in itself. But the poet thinks that a girl, or for that matter, any human being, has many things to do in this world and many duties to perform towards fellow human beings. But if a girl of excessive beauty thinks that beauty is a sufficient end in itself, she will neglect other things she should do as a human being. As a result of having such beauty, a girl may lose her natural kindness and frankness of mind and may not find friends. So the poet prays for moderate beauty for his daughter so that she may be free from the evils of too much beauty. Question 3. Explain the following. Helen, being chosen, found to lie flat and dull, and later had much trouble from a fool. Answer. These lines are quoted from A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. The poet mentions the case of the mythical Helen as an instance of how too much beauty may create trouble and bring about disaster. The poet prays for the future of his daughter, and one of the wishes that he expresses for his daughter is that she should not possess too much beauty, because such beauty has many disadvantages. In connection with his ideas that too much beauty may create havoc, he mentions in case of Helen of Greek mythology. Helen was the most beautiful in the world. She was married to Prince Menelaus, but the Trojan prince Paris, while he had been in Greece on business, was distracted by her beauty and somehow made Helen fall in love with him. She eloped with Paris, who brought her to his home in Troy. This led to the prolonged bloody war between Greece and Troy, which caused havoc on both the parties. All this was due to the Helen's too much beauty, which distracted Paris and made him a fool, and his foolish act of abducting caused such havoc. Question 4. Explain the following. In courtesy, I would have her chiefly learned. Hearts are not had as a gift, but hearts are earned by those that are not entirely beautiful. Answer. These lines occur in A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. In his prayer for his daughter, the poet wishes that he would have her chiefly learn it in courtesy. Courtesy, according to the poet, is a great virtue. A person having courtesy can win the hearts of other people. In social intercourse, man's mind or heart does not automatically fall to each other, but a person's mind or heart has to be won. Courtesy is the main virtue of a person which can enable him or her to win the hearts of others. A girl having too much beauty does not usually have courtesy, and as such a girl cannot win the heart of others. So the poet wishes a moderate beauty for his daughter, and prays that courtesy will be her chief quality with which she will be able to win the heart of others. Question 5. Explain the following. May she become a flourishing hidden tree, that all her thoughts may, like the linnet be, and have no business but dispensing around the magnanimities of sound. Answer. These lines are taken from the poem A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. Here, one point of prayer for his daughter has been expressed through a beautiful symbol. The poet wishes that his daughter should grow up like a flourishing but hidden tree. A linnet, a bird famous for his sweet song, sings from a tree. His song can be heard all around, but the bird as well as the tree from which the bird sings cannot be seen. They remain hidden from those who hear the song. This is an image through which the poet expresses his wish for his daughter. This image gives the idea that the tree is a flourishing one, and so it renders various benefits to all sorts of creatures. But it is not very prominent to its beneficiaries. It helps a linnet to sing songs, sitting hidden within its leaves. This song is heard and enjoyed by all around it. They get pleasure and refreshment from it, but the songbird and the tree from which it sings are not seen by those who enjoy the song. The poet wishes that his daughter should become a person of great thoughts, and she should spread her beneficial thoughts around, but she should herself remain unseen and so devoid of pride or showness. Question 6. Explain the significance of the following. Oh, may she live like some green laurel rooted in one dear perpetual place. Answer. These lines occur in the poem A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. The poet expresses one point of his wishes for his infant daughter. The poet wishes that his daughter should become a great personality when she grows up. The poet has used a beautiful symbol for his wish. It is a green laurel tree. A laurel tree is famous in Greek history. Its green leaves were used to make wreaths of honor. From that tradition, a laurel tree has become a symbol of honor, but it does not have to move in search of its fame. It remains perpetually rooted in one place. The poet wants his daughter to become an honorable or famous lady in future, but remaining fixed in one place of her choice. She should have such a life as will not need movement in search of honor or fame. Question 7. Explain the following with reference to the context. If there is no hatred in a mind, assault and battery of the wind can never tear the linnet from the leaf. Answer. These lines occur in the poem A Prayer for My Daughter, written by W.B. Yeats. In this poem, the poet expresses one point of his wishes for his daughter, that she should be devoid of hatred. He has also expressed the benefit of not having hatred with the help of a very beautiful image, the image of the linnet attached to its favorite environment, the green leaves. A linnet is a songbird, and it sings songs from a tree of green leaves. The song is heard by all around, and they get pleasure and refreshment from it. But the bird itself remains hidden among the leaves of the tree. The poet wants that his daughter should be without hatred. If she can be without hatred, when she grows up to be a woman, nothing or nobody can do anything harmful or destructive to her. They cannot displace her from the place where she chooses to live. So, from a fixed environment, undisturbed by anything or anybody, she can do her humanitarian work. Question 8. Explain the following lines with reference to the context. Considering that all hatred driven hence, the soul recovers radical innocence and learns at least that it is self-delighting, self-appeasing, self-affrighting, and that its own sweet will is heaven's will. Answer. These lines occur in the poem A Prayer for My Daughter, composed by W.B. Yeats. The poet mentions here one point of his wishes for his daughter, that is, removal of hatred from her mind when she grows up. According to the poet, hatred is a very vile thing of the mind. It chokes off the mind. So, if hatred is driven from the mind, the soul recovers its original innocence, the state of innocence in which it was created by God. The soul then becomes self-delighting. It can be a source of delight to itself without the help of any other thing. It can derive pleasure from its own innocence. It can also be self-appeasing in case of any cause of sorrow or mortification. It can comport itself. It can also become self-affrighting. It can delight itself in case it commits any offense. Conscience will be very active in chastising the mind. If these things are done by mind which is shown of hatred, that mind will become an abode of God, and God's will be prevail in it, or it will regard the will of God as its own. The poet wishes for such a mind for his daughter. Question 9. Explain the following. How but in custom and in ceremony are innocence and beauty born? Answer. These lines are from the poem A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. Here the poet talks about the beauty and innocence that he wishes for his daughter, and how those qualities can be acquired. The poet prays for his daughter for the qualities of mind that desires his daughter to have when she grows up. One point of his wishes is that she might be married to a bridegroom of family where everything is done according to custom and tradition and ceremony. The poet believes that innocence and beauty can only grow in a place where custom and ceremony are followed. Arrogance or pride and hatred are two of the highest positions of the mind. They are things of the common people who have no sense of innocence and beauty. Arrogance and hatred are the greatest enemies of beauty and innocence. They cannot grow anywhere else than in custom and ceremony. The poet wishes such qualities of his daughter. He prays that his son-in-law's house may be of custom and ceremony. Question 10. Explain the following with reference to the context. Ceremony is a name for its rich home, and custom for the spreading laurel tree. Answer. These are the last lines of the poem A Prayer for My Daughter by W.B. Yeats. The poet gives greatest emphasis on custom and ceremony because only these two things can cherish innocence and beauty, and richness and honor. Ceremony is the name for the rich horn or horn of plenty. By this, the poet means to say that plenty depends on ceremony. Ceremony means regulation of the activities for the conduct of life, and regulation is always a good thing. It causes thriftiness, and so it creates richness by avoiding extravagance, which a lack of regulation causes. Again, custom has been identified with the spreading of laurel tree. It means custom produces honor for a man who maintains custom. Moreover, custom and ceremony carries innocence and beauty, which qualities the poet wishes for his infant daughter. Question 11. Give a summary of the poem A Prayer for My Daughter or discuss subject matter of the poem. Answer. The poet is praying for his infant daughter that is sleeping in her cradle while a violent storm is blowing outside. He has walked and prayed for an hour because of the great gloom that is in my mind. He has imagined in his excited reverie that the future years have come dancing to a frenzied drum out of the murderous innocence of the sea. In this context, he prays for his daughter. He wishes that when his daughter grows up, she should have some qualities of mind and character. First of all, he prays for the beauty of his daughter, but that beauty should be moderate, not too much. Too much beauty makes a girl lose natural kindness or candidness. If she loses that quality, she will not find a friend. He prays for courtesy next. Courtesy wins the heart of people and leads one to become generous and honorable, like a laurel tree. Next, he wishes that his daughter should be shorn of hatred, because hatred chokes up the mind and so smooths it, that it fails to hold normal communication with people. Intellectual hatred is even worse. It creates a hostile atmosphere for a person. A mind devoid of hatred becomes the abode of God. His last wish is that the bridegroom of his daughter should come of an aristocratic family given to custom and ceremony. Custom leads to honorableness and ceremony to abundance. Question 12. Write a short note on W.B. Yeats' theory of poetry. Answer. Yeats has taught and written much about the theory and practice of how one poetical art. I repeat, please, I repeat it. Yeats has taught and written much about the theory and practice of his own poetical art. For a full understanding of his poems, it is necessary to have some knowledge of his theory of poetry. He believed in the theory of art for art's sake during the early stage of his poetic career. But actually, his genius was lyrical. It penetrated his dreams, which were essentially lyrical. In the 1990s, in his early career, he became the advocate of art for art's sake. He started to write pure poetry under the influence of the French symbolists and the English aesthetists. He divested such poetry of all the exterior decorations. In the last phase of his poetical career, he tried to reconcile art with life. There is a nice fusion of the two things in the poetry of his later page. There he insisted that the life of the past can be made relevant to the present by synthetic power of the poet's imagination. Literature must be flooded with the passions and beliefs of ancient times. Otherwise, it is mere chronicles, he said. Literature is, according to his opinion, always personal, always one man's vision of the world. He also believed that there must be a fusion of the impersonal and the personal, of the objective and the subjective in really great poetry. In really great poetry. Above all, Yeats believed that poetry is the common sense of the soul. It distinguishes greatness from frivolity, mere fancifulness from beauty that lights up the depth of thoughts. Yeats's poetic theory was unique and had little similarity with other poets' view. Question 13. Write a short note on Maud Gonne. Answer. Maud Gonne is important in the discussion of Yeats' poetry. Yeats fell in love with her very passionately when he met her for the first time in February 1889. Yeats' sister Elizabeth wrote in her diary on 13th January, Miss Gonne, the Dublin beauty who is marching on to glory over the hearts of the Dublinians, called today on Willie. She is immensely tall and very stylish and well dressed in a careless way. She has a rich complexion and hazel eyes and is, I think, decidedly handsome. One of the hers was Yeats' own. Though he was already a nationalist, it was Maud Gonne who set the seal on his heart. Yeats has referred to her in various phrases, like that straight back and arrogant head and beautiful lofty things in some of his poems. No second Troy is wholly on Maud Gonne. Yeats' meeting with Maud Gonne in 1889 was indeed very crucial in shaping the rest of his life. Yeats was a young and ambitious poet. He was inspired to know Ireland to the heart in all her moods, and to become the poet of a people, the poet of a new resurrection. I repeat it, the poet of a new insurrection. And to do this for a beautiful young woman who seemed to personify Ireland. It was she who led him deeper into the complicated factional politics of the Irish Republican Brotherhood. Yeats proposed marriage to Maud Gonne 2 times, once in 1891 and again in 1899. Once in 1891 and again in 1899, but he was rejected both the times. Maud Gonne married Major John McBride in 1903. She really played a vital role in Yeats' poetic career. Thank you friends for watching my video.